Welcome to another video and great that you're here. When I started developing software, which was in the last millennium, actually, arrays were an important part of my daily life. You use arrays to store and manipulate information that you're in the current flow of your software need to work with. When I started developing with Make, I quickly noticed that working with arrays is pretty cumbersome, or at least it was until now, and this is what today's video is all about. So I'm very excited that Make changed the way you can work with arrays and make those much more usable, in my opinion. And two of the new features I'm going to present to you right now. So when you work with several data sources, there is often the need to compare the entries of two sources and maybe find out which entries are in both sources or only in one source. And this is the first function I would like to present to you. I have here a little setup that basically reads from my lookup-table database that I used in other videos already. Just to remind you, the lookup database has customers in them, and some of them have HubSpot IDs, some of them has Stripe IDs, and this was kind of a table to look up which customer has which. And now let's use this table to get an idea what HubSpot IDs are present and which customers do not have the IDs right now. So first I have a little routine here that basically, let's make this bigger, that basically writes two arrays. One array has all the items with HubSpot's ID in it, and the other one is just a complete array with all the customers in there. So there are 4 customers in the sample table, so we don't get confused. The first thing whenever you do something like this is that you need to initialize the arrays. So you need to write the variables you use with a set variable or set multiple variables rather, and you write empty arrays. Reason is that you cannot add to an array that's not existing. This is best practice actually, that you initialize your variables before you use them and make kind of force you to work in that way. So we have 2 arrays, array HubSpot, which will then have the IDs or the emails with the HubSpot ID, and the complete array, which has all the emails that are present. I then get the entries, and then the process is as follows. I need to load the variable, in this case array HubSpot, to get the recent one. So if I would not do this like this, it wouldn't add in the loop we're there. So it would just set the variable to the then recent email address, but would forget all the iterations we had before. And this is something I would really like Make to change, so you can really update a variable in a current iteration without having to load it first. Anyways, so we have the variable set. So in every iteration, whenever we have a HubSpot ID, the array is added with another item. And since we are loading the variable before you write it, it really gets added. And here there's no filter here. So it just writes us the complete array. So if we run the scenario, we get, when we load the arrays, we get 2 arrays. We get the first one, the HubSpot array, which has only these 2 items in it. And we get the complete array, which has 4 items in it. So there are 2 people in that lookup table that do not have the HubSpot IDs. And we also want to automate the difference, and so we need a new function which now exists. So basically the array diff function returns an array that gives you items that are in the first array but not in the second. So the difference between those two, remember, the First array is always the complete that it gets checked against, and this results in our two customers that do not have the HubSpot IDs. So I could now add a function that gets the Stripe information and adds to the HubSpot database, for example. So the complementary function would be the array intersect function, which gives you only the items that are in both. So there the order would be indifferent which array comes first. It only gives you back items that are in both arrays. And as we can see, there is myself and one other person that has the HubSpot ID. So this added functionality will greatly improve how we work with arrays. And now let's have a quick look about what new functions we get when we are working with collections. So in this example, I loaded my contact information from HubSpot, set it as an original entry. So you have the values right here. So whenever you're working with structured data and you want to address specific fields, collections were basically the way to go. And now with the new set function, you can really manipulate those fields as well, which I'll show you right here. So I use the function set, provide my collection, which in this case is the variable my contact, and tell it to change the item address to Karlstraße 16 in this case. So again, if we are looking at the output bundle, it now says address, and this is my office address if anyone cares to drop by. So this makes working with collections much more flexible. So in earlier days, we would have had to rebuild the collection in a way with the edited values. And now we can just edit the value directly and maybe save that to back to HubSpot in this case. And these are like the minor changes I really love. I really do have a feeling that Make does not only provide like the big fancy updates, but from a developer point, really sees pain points we have and I had for a long time, like working with arrays, and this collection thing always seemed inferior to other programming languages I used to work with. And now we are a big step further with handling arrays and collections and information within our scenarios. So only on a last note, I really would love to see the get variable, set variable functionality improved next, maybe, so we do not have to load variables all the time, which should be present in the current run, which, in my opinion, is a source for errors if you forget to load the variable before writing it. But other than this, yeah, I'm happy with the update. I can't wait to update my scenarios with these new functions and get rid of some crazy array comparison routines and just use the Diff and Intersect array. And also now I'm able to really work on the collections themselves, which should improve the overall simplicity of working, and lastly, like the simplicity of finding errors or avoiding errors altogether. So this is a really great feature, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Thanks for watching and see you then. Bye.